So I apologize for being a little late with this video, but it's a very important one for Madden 26 and College Football 26 because the deep dive blog for Madden 26 came out on June the 17th, and there's a lot to love about it. One of the things that a lot of Madden players have been talking about over the years is that base align is an unrealistic coverage shell, but a lot of competitive players say that it serves a purpose because it helps ultimately with disguising your intent with your coverage by making every single play look the exact same. This makes your opponent have to basically rely on post-snap reading ability to really figure out what you're in. One of the things that we have seen with the 26 notes is that EA is copying the model of college football, and they're going to be going to the coverage shell feature and removing that base alignment feature that we have become so used to over the last probably 20 years of playing Madden. And while I think that this is a really great thing for the game, I do want to outline some issues with the pre-existing college football and Madden shell feature, so that way we can get the best product possible in those games. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. It's going to be a huge year, I assure you. So much to love from these deep dive modes. We'll be talking about more of it in the near future, but let's get into it. So one of the things that I want to show you that is a huge issue with the shell feature in this game is that when you actually enter a formation, not all formations actually have the shell feature. You see right here, this 2-3 dime does not have the ability for us to flick the right analog stick and show a different coverage shell. This means that when we run this formation, disguising the coverages that we call is completely useless because the tells that associate with cover 3 sky are there, and the tells that associate with a man coverage player there or a cover 2 shell are there, and we don't have the ability to show a different shell if I want to play quarters and show it as cover 2, or play cover 3 and show it as cover 4, or play cover 2 and show it as cover 3. This formation is not viable in that regard. So my number one ask is that if we are going the way of coverage shells, let's make sure that every single defense in this game can show all the main coverages, meaning a cover 2 shell, a cover 3 shell single high, a cover 4, and also a man coverage look. This allows us the ultimate freedom to disguise man as zone, zone as man, match as zone, match as man, blitzes as off coverage, or coverage as press coverage, or drop out coverage as a press alignment. So again, shells are needed in every single formation. Now, with all this coverage talk that we're going to be getting into in this video, it's a huge reminder that you guys should check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg, because with all the hype of Madden NFL 26 and College Football 26 coming out soon, we have our pre-sale offer for all of the content on my website all year long for one upfront payment. Normally Gridiron is $9.95 a month, or $120 if you go 12 straight months paying that rate. You guys can unlock the entire year for just $75. That is weekly updated vault content. This is curated specifically for you, talking about what pro players are doing, thus the trickle-down effect of the meta or the most effective tactics available, and how to counter them when you play online. This way you're winning more games, winning more rewards, spending less on packs, and actually buying the cards that you want because you have the coins in game in your account from winning more. You guys also will unlock all offensive and defensive game plans at no additional charge, members only Discord access, and we have lab sessions in our Discord at no additional charge as well every single week. And new to the website this year, I will be uploading every single lab session the next day to the website so that people that were unable to attend live can still catch up on the notes and watch the lab session back on demand. Make sure you guys go check it out. Best deal in the tip space. Now let's get into the next thing that EA has to change about shell features. So we've already talked about formations that don't give you shell options. 3-3 Cub, very popular, doesn't have shell options. Let's talk about one that does have shell options though. This would be 2-4. And with this formation, again, you can see that if I flick the right analog stick, this allows me to show a shell. 2-man under, cover 0, cover 6, cover 4, etc., etc. Not every single formation that does have shells has all these coverages available, by the way. Again, harping back to our first point, every formation needs shells, and every single formation needs all the shells. So that way we can disguise any formation as any coverage look. But when we actually do show a shell, one of the things that EA is unaware of is that when we show a cover 4 as a cover 3, and then I audible into literally anything else, that shell resets, meaning that now the cover 2 that I just audibled into shows as a cover 2. Even though I chose that I want to disguise everything in my look as a cover three. Let me show you another example of this issue. So let's say for whatever reason, I'm playing a cover four defense out of, let's say 3-4 over. And I want my outside corners to play tighter to the line of scrimmage, because maybe I want them just to kind of disguise that I might be in a cover two and bait my opponent into maybe trying to attack a high-low in the flat or something, maybe a flood combo. So if I flick the right analog stick, one, we don't even have the ability in this formation to use that shell. So let's go ahead and do this out of something else, where we're going to call a, oh, look, they don't have quarters. This is my next point, okay? So what we're talking about is we need every single defensive formation in this game to have the base coverages of the game. We need at bare minimum Tampa 2, cover 3 sky, cover 3 match with at least one variant, whether it's seam or buzz or Mabel. We need some sort of cover 3 match. And we also need quarters, not just quarters, but we need quarters, palms, cover 6, and cover 9. So even though I got shell here, I can't disguise match as anything, because the only shells that this has is cover 0 and cover 3. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, I want to come out in this man coverage play, and I then audible into a different man coverage play. Well, now my cover 3 shell's gone. So again, the shell feature only applies to the play that you break the huddle in. And this bug also extends itself over to package subs. So let's talk about one. This is one very few people talk about. We all know the big nickel package, or the safety inside package. This is where we get a safety at the nickel corner position for the purpose of coming out and changing our slot corners adjustments. So when we take a look right here, we have this outside third, deep half left, outside third the other direction, deep half the other direction, middle third, mid read, man, and blitz. These are safety adjustments at a nickel corner position. Now check this out. We have the cover 3 shell for this cover 2 defense that I'm showing, and we have a package on. If I audible into literally anything else, let's go cover or silver shoot pinch. Not only do we lose our coverage shell feature, and now we're giving away that we audible into a man-to-man play, but if I look at my slot adjustments, we now have hard flat, seam flat, curl flat, vertical hook, spy, bluff blitz, blitz, and man coverage. Now, don't get me wrong, for somebody like me or any other advanced player, from a gameplay perspective, this is cool. This is like a hot route master. In fact, I've done videos on this in the past where I've said, you know, this is how you get zone hot route master for your safeties or your slot corner, because I can put them in an outside third, a middle third, an outside third to the other side, a mid read zone. But then if I audible, I can put them into a curl flat, a seam flat, a vertical hook. You get the point here. It's cool, but it's confusing. And there's a lot of times where maybe I'm doing something with a shell or a package sub, and it just kind of fleets my mind, and I forget that my slot corner changed, and I put him into what I think is a outside third to the left, but lo and behold, he's actually in a hard flat. And when your guy's in a hard flat instead of a deep zone on the same side of the field, that leads to busted coverages. Now, in this case, this is man-to-man, but I think you understand what I'm talking about. When you're adjusting pre-snap and your packages reset because you audibled, and your shells reset because you audibled, and then a lot of times if you go to like actually like try to show certain shells, some formations it will show a cover 3 if you actually hit the feature, and other ones it won't. That's just a lot. And I hope that these bugs are things that EA might take a look at in the near future, because with baseline being gone, that is one of the ultimate disguise your coverage features. And while I do kind of concede that this is something that isn't realistic, baseline isn't a real feature in real football, I still want the customization level from a pre-snap perspective to actually match the features itself. Because again, if I'm showing cover 3 and I audible pre-snap into something else, I don't want to give away my tell when I audible. Nobody does. That's why we all play with baseline. So if you guys are removing baseline, these would be huge things to make sure that you guys focus on for probably that September or October title update, because I know that just from my experience testing games, you know, this isn't something that's going to make it for launch. It's just too tight to when this feedback is given to, you know, when it might be implemented. But it's something that we have to have this year, because again, there's so many things about Madden and college football that differ, and Madden having a lot of cheat motion and exit motion, we're going to need our shells to work. We're going to need all the shell features out of all the formations, because if we're in a formation that doesn't have, for instance, a cover 2 shell where you kind of get that outside leverage, you know, force the receiver inside looks, that way they can react to something in the flat better, because I'm only stuck with, you know, stock shells for plays. Or even worse, if I call a cover 2 shell and then I audible and I give up that leverage and now the screen is to the outside and I didn't really want to do that because it's a bug, that's gonna be super frustrating. So let's make sure that these things are done right. You know, obviously this is something we're hoping to maybe get, I would guess October, September maybe, but definitely something that there's plenty of time to get fixed. This is early feedback as it pertains, you know, actionable things. This isn't something we're gonna have to wait for Madden 27 for, but it's something that has to happen in 26. I'm gonna get up out of here. We got so much more to come. Just talk about preparing for Madden 26, college football 26. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I got a lot coming, and make sure you check out the pre-sale offers on Gridiron. I'm out of here. See you guys later. Until then, this is Zan. Good lab and good luck.